you surprised that you didn't get in the NIT? Were your players just
We were, and yes. And do I think there's still a little bit of a good old boy network in that one? Yeah, I do. I think that's part of, what's disappointing about it. But it is, you can't control it, so you can't worry about it. I've obviously, not just myself, but Dan has, expressed a little displeasure with the league, although the league doesn't control it either. So, but it's, I've gotten calls from multiple ACC coaches, head coaches, that have said it's ridiculous that you guys aren't in NIT, because that's ridiculous. I've had two guys call me and say that that's just crazy, and that's frustrating. But
were you told by anybody from the NIT?
no, you don't. It's again, it's one of the same reason like South Carolina's not in the NCAA tournament. I mean, it's, you look at whatever numbers and facts you want to look at to make your case. There's no clear-cut deal, but to be we're 10-8. There's two teams in our league that are 9-9 that are in the NCAA tournament, and obviously there's two teams 8-10 that are in the NIT. So that's not easy. It's not easy to tell your players that. It's not easy to justify all those things. But at the end of the day, we didn't win enough games. We need to win another game. If we won one more game, if we closed out Georgia Tech, we would have gone. So some of it's our responsibility and our fault. When you leave it in the hands of committees, things happen. So that's the lesson that we told our players, and that's what we got to do.
Brad, if you lose Jerron, as big of a loss as that would obviously be, how confident are you that the program is in the shape where you can knock that door down, even having lost a guy like that?
We're in better shape than we were when KJ left. I still like to think, that we're a talented enough team, and if guys take, we'll have to make adjustments, and somebody else is going to have to emerge and have a major year, because it's hard to do those things. It's hard to be one of those kind of teams without some sort of star player. It's not completely the same, but take Deshaun Watson off the football team this year and next year and see if there's a difference. Like, do we play for the national championship this year if he's not our quarterback? I don't know. Maybe. I'd like to think we still would, but maybe we wouldn't. That's why when some people say, like, I don't know how okay, KJ left, like, that's not a big deal. It's a little bigger deal than everybody wants to believe. It's a pretty big deal, especially when you've built your program to count on that dude in your fifth year in that class. And that's your first, kind of group of guys that are building it to that point. And again, it goes back to my whole thing of, like, if he stays and we go to the tournament, the narrative on the whole program is 100% different, which, hey, that's fine. But we're still going to do what's best for KJ, and in this situation, we're going to do what's best for Jerron. Do I think that we're in a better place than we were that year? We are. I think we have more depth, more guys that are experienced, maybe even a little bit higher quality guy, better offensive players. We were 6th in the league in offense this year and 6th in the league in defense. Last year, I think we were 14th in the league in offense and 3rd in defense. So we weren't quite as good, and it's another thing I get a little bit upset about. Like, we weren't a bad defensive team. I'm a very critical coach of our defense. We're still the 6th best defense in the ACC out of 15. So, like, we compete pretty hard. Our guys do a lot of really good things defensively. Unfortunately, we need to do more so we can win at a higher level. But I'm really pleased, with the way we've improved offensively. Assist numbers, free throw percentage, three-point percentage, field goal percentage, turnover numbers down. Everything was better. We knew that was probably going to be the case. We've done a better job of recruiting more scorers, more guys that can shoot. It's opened things up. And then you have to have a special player. If you have a guy like Jerron who's a special player, it helps you tremendously offensively, because it allows you, double teams that create things for other guys. Or if they guard one-on-one, just like with KJ, when you guarded those guys one-on-one, they were going to score more times than not. And obviously last year's team didn't have that. We didn't have anybody that created a double team. We didn't have anybody that could create their own shot. I think we're better that way next year, even if Jerron leaves. I don't know if we have a guy who's going to do what he did, but we have more guys that are ready to be better offensively to help us. So I'm optimistic that we could withstand that.
What do you think that Shelton and Marquise and Elijah are going to bring to this team next year?
You know, I think Shelton Mitchell is probably the first real pure point guard that we've had. And, you know, Rod became a point guard and was a pretty good point guard. You know, he wasn't elite, but he competed very well against a lot of good players. He just wasn't an elite offensive guy, but he made other guys better. Jordan and Avery are both kind of combo type guards that can play the point and be point guards, but it's not their natural position. I don't know. I think like Shelton Mitchell is a natural point guard. He plays with great pace. He has size. He has great vision. He sees people. He gets more guys shots. Because of his size, he can get into the lane if he's just being guarded by one sometimes and get his own shot. So I think that's the best thing that he brings to our team. Marquise is just wired to score, and we've got to work on other things with Marquise, but he is about making baskets. That's always a good thing to have on your roster, a guy that can make a shot, create a shot, beat a guy on a closeout. Some years we haven't had as much of that. You know, we're optimistic that he can do some things off ball screens too, and so you can have a couple different guys that are good off a couple different things. And then Elijah is a guy with size who has very good hands and feel. He's not a great athlete. He's got to learn to work harder. He's got to understand the details involved at this level. I think we've all got to be a little cautious about that with him. Again, he's a guy who hasn't. I only played in 5 games at Texas A&M, and you know he wasn't in major minutes, and so now he's sat out. But he really doesn't have live experience, and the hard thing for him is he's going to have to jump in on the fly, which that's never easy, and that's a point of concern with our team next year is having enough depth inside. I think City continues to make progress. I'm really pleased with the way he continues to develop, but he's not a back-to-the-back low post scorer or back-to-the-basket low post scorer. He's more of just a rugged, tough guy that rebounds, defends, finishes plays around the rim, can make an occasional post move, do some things. That's not going to drastically change. Elijah will be able to help with that, but again, he's going to have to jump in on the fly, and so that'll be a challenge. But he has tools in terms of catching, passing skills that we haven't had in a few years.